Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita session. We have very important topic coming up for discussion, and we sent some information earlier this week about what it is going to be. And as you can see, the the topic is God, karma, and destiny, or we can put it in the other way, the mystery of karma and destiny. And this is again, it's a very relevant topic. It's something that we will stumble upon all the time. These questions, for which we always don't get very definitive answers. We always don't get very clear answers. We broadly understand how things are. There's a vague idea about these things in everybody's mind, but generally we don't know, or generally we probably would not have had a chance to deep dive into the scriptures to understand these things in detail. So in our today's session we will try to do that. We have about 81 participants, and I expect more to join as we progress. So please keep yourself free. Keep yourself free. These are the, we'll come upon examples. We will take some examples from scriptures. We will take some examples from our real life. And I will urge you all to think of examples from your life, examples from your life, and that those are only known to you. And you can share, you can try and share some of those if you can, but at least make a note of that, at least in your mind, or at least if you have a pad, ipad, or a whatsapp, or somewhere you, if you can relate the what points that we are going to discuss with your real life instances, experiences, the events, then if you can find some correlation between these, please take a note of it, make a note of it somewhere, and you can refer to it. You can reflect on it post this session or even during the session, if time permits. And you can, if you would like to, you please feel free to share some of those realizations, what you will get out of those reflections with us, at least with me. You can feel free to share. So we'll not be able to do a lot of group discussions, because we have a lot to cover, and we'll generally will have a large group, but it shouldn't stop you from sharing what's on your mind, because you always can use voice message, whatsapp chat, to share what you have and what you have on your mind. And it's always good to reflect on it, to reflect, bounce it off somebody, as they say. And we can confirm if your thinking is on the right track, or if there is any correction required, we can give. So our concepts become clear, our concepts become clear, and we can then follow the path of bhakti with clear head, clear mind. So with that, let's jump into the topic for today. We'll not do a lot of revision, but nevertheless, it's important to remember where we are and where we want to be, from discourage to encourage, from Arjuna, who is perplexed, doesn't know what to do, doesn't know, should he do at all, should he fight war at all, or should he not fight the war at all, what to do, how to do, why to do. All those questions were he was surrounded by these questions. He didn't knew any answers. And end of the Bhagavad Gita, this is how Arjuna looked like. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. He has lifted his famous bow Kandiva, and he's ready to fight. Karishye Vachanam Tava. This is his transformation. The transformation was possible because he heard with sincerity. He tried to apply the knowledge that he was listening to his real life problem, and he benefited because of his sincerity. He got the mercy from Krishna. He says, "Tvat prasadan maya achyuta." Because of your mercy, I have been able to understand. Gata sandeha. There is no doubt left in my mind. Karishya vachanam tava. Karishya vachanam tava is not just because because this is my job to do. This is not because I don't want to hurt you. Karishivachanam Tava is out of love, out of trust, out of conviction that you are my Surudha, the best ever well-wisher friend of me. And whatever you will tell me to do, it is going to be best for me. And you are in control. I am not in control. So let me become instrument in your hand, and I will do whatever you want me to do. जैसे कठपुतली होती है, कठपुतली का शो होता है, तो उसमें यू सी द शो, there are there are dolls which are dancing, they are fighting, they are doing something on the stage, but behind the scenes क्या होता है? There is somebody, there is a player who has those all those dolls are tied with a small thin rope in the to the fingers of somebody, and using his fingers he is moving his fingers, and here we see those dolls dancing. So similarly, we are controlled by somebody else, and we 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 dance to their tunes. If we cooperate with them, our dance will look good. If we do not cooperate with them, our dance will look like a struggle. Karshati. As Krishna says in the seventh verse of 15th chapter, that that prakriti sthani karshati, they struggle very hard in the material world. So this is our condition where we want to be. So pray to Krishna, pray to God, pray to Prabhupada, pray to devotees that help me become a devotee of Lord Krishna in this lifetime. So, with this prayer in mind, we come back to our battlefield. Take a break from our real life battlefield and focus on the Kurukshetra battlefield, where conversation is happening between Lord Krishna, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present as chariot driver of Arjuna, and Arjuna, his most intimate friend, who is sitting in the chariot as charioteer and giving Krishna order. If you see in the picture, he's showing Krishna, take my chariot in between these two armies. I want to see very closely all these people who have come here with an intention to fight. I'll have to kill them. I want to see who these people are, and I want to take a final look at them. So Arjuna is and Krishna, they are present and they are conversing, and we are trying to make sense out of that conversation for our benefit. God, karma, and destiny. This is where our focus will be um, today. So let's jump right into the topic for today. All 88 of you, please stay patient. We'll not, as we may have prompting questions, but we'll not have a lot of group discussion. So I'll end up doing a lot of talking. But feel free to stop me if you have to discuss something. You can put a message in the chat box, and if you have a question, we can take all the questions towards the end. But if you want to discuss something in between, feel free to put it in the chat box or raise hand, and Vikas Prabhuji, Ashwini Shukla Prabhuji, who are helping me today, they can help me with the, they can pause me if need be, and we can discuss something. Or else we can discuss towards the end. But make it, I want to keep it little free flowing, not static. It's not a class discussion, sorry, but I want you to take to your chat boxes and answer these questions. Is everything in our control? Which means whatever we desire, can we do anything what we want? Is everything is Are we in control of our life? Is everything in our control? Type yes if you believe this is the right statement. Nothing is in our control. If you believe in the second statement that nothing is in our control, everything is predestined, and I have no control, nothing is in our control at all, then you can type no in the chat box. And um if you can't agree with any one of these statements, then you may type D, disagree, as D for disagree. So Y for yes, no for no, and D for disagree. You know, you don't agree with any of these statements. Then you can type D. Why? Y, no, and D. Y, N, and D. One of these you can pick up at your options. Those who joined recently, we're discussing God, karma, and destiny. A very interesting topic, and we want all of your full attention. So right now you can answer to one of these questions. Type Y or yes if you believe everything is in our control. Type no if you believe nothing is in our control. And if you disagree with both these statements, type D or disagree. I still don't have 92, 93 answers, but I still have a lot of answers. So take a moment, think about it. I'm going to the chat box right now to see what's happening there. Yeah, those who have not replied so far, feel free to jump in and submit your responses, whatever be it. I haven't seen why yet. There are a lot of no's and a lot of D's, a few D's, but lots of no's. Others, anybody wants to one last second, 2, 3 last seconds before everybody else wants to jump in and submit their response in the chat box. Okay. Thank you so much for everyone. And yeah, let's move forward. So let's pause this question. We'll not answer this. So the question we are trying to discuss is how much control do we all possess? Do we have all the control, or do we have no control, or reality lies somewhere in between? Because then we do disagree with both these statements, and maybe the reality lies somewhere in between. So let's park this question for the time being. Hopefully, towards the end of our session, you all, hopefully, all of us can come to a common ground, common agreement, and this is what we will discuss during the session. So stay focused, don't do multitasking. If you have logged in with your mobile name, please change it to your real name. We want to know who you are. We are tracking your attendance, and hence we wish to know. And we are also tracking your answers, we are tracking your questions. We want it has to be a transparent dealing, and we should know. Don't log in with your mobile phones names. Change, rename yourself to your real you, your name, whatever your material name is. So let's move forward. What we are seeing here is a satellite which is being controlled by some scientist, and one small satellite which we sent in the space is is controlled by so many scientists in the back end. So many scientists work day and night in order to get that satellite launch into the space and keep it moving in the orbit. And there is a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of time is spent by them doing this. And opposed to this, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I enter into every planet and keep them floating in orbit. Gamma Vishyacha Bhutani, Gamma Vishyacha Bhutani. So I enter into every planet and keep them floating in their orbit. So Krishna doesn't require a lot of effort. He says this just happens. It happens by the small spark of my energy. It is all happening. The entire solar system, all the planets that we see, they're floating in space because of the energy of Krishna. and wherein we put energy into these small satellites, and we continuously monitor and try and control them completely from the planet. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya adhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti. So we all have desire to control. We all have desire to control. Yesterday I was reading an article on a surgery being performed from Gurgaon on a patient who was in Hyderabad, and through robotic controls, this surgery was performed. Actually, from the surgeons were in Gurgaon and the patient was in Hyderabad, and the surgery was being performed there through robotic controls. So the desire to control the uncontrollable is within us, and that comes from Krishna, because Krishna is the ultimate controller. Krishna controls the movement of the whole space. The movement of the entire solar system is controlled by Krishna. The creation is controlled by Krishna. The maintenance is controlled by Krishna. Rain is controlled by Krishna. The sun is controlled by Krishna. So Brahma Samhita sun god says that Brahmaji says that the sun actually rises on time on the order of Lord Krishna. On the order of At the order of Lord Krishna, sun rises every day. Sun and moon are like two eyes of Lord, and the wind blows because of Krishna. The cyclone comes because of Krishna. Everything happens because of Krishna. So Krishna is in complete control, and because we are separated parts and parcel of Krishna, the desire to control what is seemingly uncontrollable also is within us, and that comes from Krishna. Let's move to the verse of today that we will be focusing upon. And the verse is 2.47 in second chapter Bhagavad Gita's 47th verse. Karmanye eva adhikar raste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur mate sangostva akarmani. Krishna says that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So there's a lot spoken in this small verse. Uh, Generally, some of the verses just have one line explanation, one line translation, but seems to be a very complex verse. So let's break this verse into four parts. Uh, the four parts are Karmanye eva adhika raste. What it means is Krishna is saying that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Now, karma is translated here as a prescribed duty. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Now, we generally consider the right is in terms of our results. We have a right to our results. This is how we think, but Krishna is saying the other way around. He says you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. We can correlate this with our right to vote. You have a right to vote. Every citizen of India has a right to vote, and you should vote. That's how our government and everyone encourages you to vote, to perform, exercise your right to vote. So you have a right to perform your duty. But in the next sentence, ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma phaleshu kadachana means, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. This is a little problematic. We consider, when we perform any action, we perform that action for fruits, and we feel if we have done reasonably well, if we have acted reasonably well, then we feel we have a right to the fruit also. Whatever that fruit we may be desiring, we have a right to get our fruit. We deserve our fruit. We are entitled to our fruit. But Krishna is saying the other way around. He's saying, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. He's not saying there will no fruits of action. He's saying you're not entitled to it. Entitled is a very interesting word. It tell us we may get it, we may not get it, and we may get it as per our liking, and we may get it, we may not get it as per our liking, or we may get something which we may not like. So for our action there will be a fruit, some fruit will be there, but that we are but we are not entitled to the fruit. We may not get, or we may get something which is completely contradictory to what we wanted. It could be completely different than what we wanted. So there is, Krishna says, you have a control on what you can do, but you have no control on what you get after your action. He explains that reason in the third part, Ma Karma Phala Hetur Bhur, where he says that never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities. What it means is, even if you get something, you're supposed to not consider yourself to be the cause. Whatever you may get for your actions, you have to perform actions. You must perform action. You have a right to perform action, and you will get some fruit. See, not getting a fruit is also a fruit. I expected salary, but I get no salary is also an event. It may not be as per my liking, but still it is an event. It's a fruit. So so that's a so what I will get, I have no control over that. And why is that the case? Because I am not the only doer. Because I am not the only doer. My actions contribute to the fruit, but there is no 100% correlationship between the two. my my actions are responsible for the fruit. They they are required, they are prerequisite, but they are not the only prerequisite for the fruits whatever I may be getting, I may get. And that's what he explains in the third part. Never consider yourself only to be the cause of the results of your activities, which means you are not the only doer. And thinking that anyway you don't know what you will get, should I stop working? Krishna says, no. Mate sangostva akarmani. Mate sangostva akarmani. And never be attached to not doing your duty, which means you should be attached to doing your prescribed duty. You should be doing your prescribed duties. You are supposed to do your prescribed duties. Thinking that the results are not fully in my control, one may suspend performance of duty itself. Krishna is saying that should not be, that should not happen. Inactivity is not allowed. Krishna is not recommending it. He's not, in fact, we'll see in the 33rd verse uh, that if you fail to do your prescribed duty, that will incur you sin. That will incur sin. That's a sinful. So you must do your prescribed duty. So the karmanya eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karmak phala heturbhur mate sangosva akarmani. We are trying to break this big verse into four parts, and this is how what we can understand it. Let's move forward. As I said, Krishna has spoken that not doing duty is not a choice. If you feel that because the results are bad, I will not do my duty only, Krishna says that is not acceptable. Athachetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi ततः स्वधर्मम कीर्तिम च हित्वा पापम अवाप्स्यसे. So Arjuna and Krishna, we are just making a reference to something what Arjuna has already spoken. Krishna has already spoken to Arjuna in the 33rd verse in the same chapter, chapter 2, where Krishna is saying that, however, if you do not perform your religious duty, prescribed duty of fighting, why religious? Because it's a Kshatriya duty to fight against injustice. And you are a Kshatriya and you have been subjected to injustice, and you must fight. In the Kshatriya spirit, you must fight. Then you will certainly incur sins. So if you fail to fight in this war, citing any reasons that will incur sin for neglecting your duty, and thus you will lose your reputation as a fighter. Kirtis, you'll lose your kirti. So in the subsequent chapter, next chapter 3, the 27th verse, Krishna is going to speak of another beautiful verse which says that Prakrutehe kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. Karta aham iti manyate considers himself to be the doer. Bewildered by the influence of false ego, one may think himself to be the doer of activities. Again, so the same point, Krishna says, you are not the only doer. That you should understand. And this is very important verse. And let's move forward in understanding this verse in little bit more detail. We have 108 participant right now. It's a very auspicious number. We chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 108 times in every round. So I hope all of you stay through the session and patiently listen and participate and in this session today. So let's break this in further. Let's do a deep dive on this concept of duty and destiny. Because if there is no correlationship, how do I understand that? And why should I work then? What is my motivation to work? So this kind of a verse gives rise to many of such questions. That then, if I'm not in control, if I'm not supposed to get what if I may not get, I may or may not get what I want, no matter how good or bad I work. Why should I work? If somebody else is controlling my results, the whatever I'm getting, I whatever fruits of my actions, if somebody are in control of someone else, then why should I act? And who that someone else is, and why he is in control, why am I not in control? This could give rise to many questions. So let's look at this aspect in a little bit more detail. A lot of devotees ask me about my examples from cricket and Bollywood. So sorry, I'll continue with those because that's where I find a lot of I can relate these things with scriptures very easily, and it helps people also see the linkage. We can always give examples from scriptures, and scriptures are great, but sometimes example from real life also make us help us understand concepts a little better. So we'll continue to do that. I hope you all can forgive me for that. But let's take an example of one instance when Virendra Sehwag was to bat as an opening batsman in Indian cricket team, and he's probably retired now, but he was once batting in West Indies in a one day match, 50 over one day match, and then I think he gave a very simple catch. He was batting for 20 or 30 runs, and he gave a very simple catch to one of the best fielders in the West Indies side. And such a simple catch, everyone thought probably he's gone now, and he himself probably thought, no, this is end of my day. And then, to his surprise and to the surprise of everyone, this best fielder in the West Indian side dropped the catch, and he was in a state of shock, and everyone was in the state of shock. Even Virendra Sehwag says, even I was shocked to see him drop my simple catch. And then later on, he went on to score 150 runs in that match. And end of the day, there was an interview. Typically, all those good performers, they've been asked by journalists some questions and then he said, when he saw that catch getting dropped, when he saw that catch getting dropped from the best fielder in the opposition side, he felt that God was on his side. He said, I knew today God was on my side. God is on my side. And then he went on to score another 120, 130 runs and remain not out. And then India won and whatever. But the question here is, the Virendra Sehwag felt, or the our Indian cricketer Virendra Sehwag felt that God was on his side today. And then from that moment onwards, whatever he did, he was just successful. Sometimes he hit ball wrongly and still that was going for six. Sometimes he was not able to middle, some edges were going for four boundaries, and everything was, sometimes he would play a uppy shot and that would land in the no man's zone. There's nobody to catch. So he was practically unstoppable that day and just went on to score more than 150 run in very very quick time. And then he said this, that I knew God was on my side today. Question is, does God take sides in cricket match at all? More important question is, which I want you all to answer. Have you also felt something like this? That some days are so perfect that you make mistakes and people appreciate you for making mistakes also. Or some days are opposite, that when you try your best but nothing seems to be going in your favor. uh, Take to chat box, we'll not do a group discussion on this, but can you relate with this? Maybe you can type yes, no, and that some days you feel as if God really is on your side. God is really sanctioning whatever you are desiring. Everything seems to be happening, and there are days when nothing seems to be happening. As if there is a revenge somebody is taking against you, and nothing seems to be going in your favor, or nothing. No matter how good you are trying to be, how best your efforts are, everything results into a failure. Is this only Virendra Sehwag's emotion, or is this something that you all experience, all 108 of you experience as well? Let's look at chat box. Sometimes it goes like unexpected. Yeah. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani cha keshava. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is describing his condition to Lord Krishna, where he says that I came to the battlefield thinking I will fight this battle, take revenge. There are so many wrong things have happened to us. They've been trying to kill us right from our childhood. They try to burn us alive in the Lakshagraha. They try to dishonor my wife. My mother suffered so much in the 13 years in forest. She had to live like she was princess, queen, and Queen Kunti had to live like a beggar, practically going from jungle to jungle. So much hardships that we've been subjected to because of this stupid Duryodhan and his brother. So this is my chance to take revenge. And when he came to the battlefield, when the battle was about to begin, he started crying. They are my brothers. He's saying, he's my Pitama, he's my Guru. How can I kill them? Why should I kill them? What enjoyment will I have after killing them? So Viparitani Jakeshava. Before war, when they were preparing for war, he never thought this could be his situation. He thought probably he will be the first one to start shooting arrow. Bhima was not in this condition. Bhima was waiting for the battle to begin so that he can start killing 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. So Arjuna's condition was surprising to he himself also, and therefore he says, निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि च केशव. सब कुछ उल्टा हो रहा है मेरे साथ. So so let's see in the chat box. Many yeses. Hopefully, hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully, we are able to relate with what Virendra Sehwag is thinking. And so let's see what is the what is the how do we understand this, that God was on his side and he was completely dependent on God? Was he completely dependent on God? That's not the case, right? In the sports, actually, the the physical performance matters a lot. It's a lot of physical activity. There is intense training that every sportsman go through. Every athlete, every sports star who has done well at a global level, he will go through intense intense training right from their early age. Like Sachin Tendulkar started playing cricket at the age from the age of 8, and from then onwards, he played test match before he was even 15-year-old. 15, 16-year-old, he played international cricket. He practically didn't had private life. All his morning to evening and late night, everything he would be doing is for cricket. Evening he would prepare for next day, and mornings, or from early morning, he would travel to the ground and start playing, start practicing, start from venue to venue. He will go change venue and change his gear and change his uh, you know he would just keep play and do nothing. Immediately, very early age, he started playing for Mumbai. After playing Ranji Trophy, he immediately got selected for national side, and then he played in England. He scored century. So so practically, he went to Pakistan, made his debut, went to England, scored his first century, and from then onwards, for next 25 years, he had practically no personal life, no time for his personal life. Only time when he used to have personal life when he used to get injured, and but that personal time used to be spent in hospital because nursing the injuries. So they go through intense struggle, intense hard work. There's a lot of hard work involved, lot of training involved, and they have to perfect their skills. They have to improve your skills. They have to learn and relearn and unlearn something and relearn something. So lot of time they spend. It's massive hard work for anybody to succeed at international level, even national level or international level, and become world champion, world famous. It requires immense effort. So but all of these sportsmen, they do realize that no matter, their success definitely requires their hard work, but um, their performance action is not all that matters. The performance does not only depends on their actions. There are times, sometimes, or someone, there is someone, or there is something, or there is someone beyond their control which shapes the results what they get. There is something, or there is someone behind the scene who is calling shots, who is controlling the results, the outcome, the performance of those athletes. It depends on their efforts, but it also depends on someone or something which probably they don't know. But whatever that someone or someone something that desires, that also shapes the results what ultimately these athletes get. That's why most of the sportsmen, they will have their own little superstitions. Let's look at them. Mark Taylor used to be a famous cricketer, Australian cricketer. So he had a habit of before he was to bat as an opening batsman and used to be a captain for major part of his career. He was captain of Australian side, and before stepping out on the field to bat, when Australia has to bat, he used to go out in first, and so before he would step out on the field to bat, he would go to the toilet and close all the toilet leads. Close the toilet leads before he would go and bat. And he believed that if any of these toilet leads remain open, he may get out early. So after getting out, sometimes he used to get early, and after getting out, he immediately would come and rush to the toilet just to see if anybody left that toilet lead open. And that he believed always that would must have caused his early dismissal on the field. Now think about it. What remote possibility could exist between toilet in the dressing room and what's happening on the ground? But he had a very strong faith that there is a relationship, and therefore he used to, because he was a captain, he could dictate terms that nobody should leave the toilet seat open and all of that. Sachin Tendulkar, another famous cricketer, is again, this has been spoken in many interviews, so it's not something that we are making up, but he used to not like talking before he would step out to bat. So there used to be a zone where he used to be silent, a silence zone, where he used to say that I want to just remain silent. I will not even talk with my opening partner. Leave alone, not take calls, obviously, not listen to anything. Sometimes, if people are too much bothering, I would rather listen to music. I would put up my headsets on, but I will just be left alone. I want to be left alone for some time before I would step out to bat. And um, he hated it to talk to people, and he would always tie his left pad first. He would always tie his left pad first. He would always step out. They were opening player. He used to bat in opening position, so he would always be seen as walking from one side of the crease, one particular side of the crease. So he used to do all of that, and he used to express this to others so that others don't cross line, others don't come in between, and the position that he was in, others used to respect his this space, and they used to allow him to do whatever he wanted to do. So he believed that doing this can maybe can influence favorably for him to perform. What it really is doing is what these people are trying to do, what these people are trying to do by doing these things. And we can talk about so many cricketers, we may talk about our own self, that for going for interview we may pick up a particular shirt, or we may not want to be wearing a particular another type of shirt which we feel may not be bring luck to us, or whatever we may destiny luck, or whatever we may want to call it. But every one of us, or most of us, probably will have something or the other, something like this, which we with which we are trying to control that uncontrollable factor. Something beyond us determines our results, and there is this effort to try and control that unknown. We don't know. Most of the people that you look around, they really can't put a finger to who that someone is, or what that thing is which is actually responsible for shaping the results that they get. This sometimes may work for us, or this something may sometimes work for us, may work in our favor, and may work against us also. Sometimes we see in cricket, again, cricket's parlance, sometimes bowler bowl the best bowling of his life and doesn't get a wicket, and sometimes he bowl full toss and he gets wicket. The full toss is considered to be the most easiest ball to hit, but sometimes who could bowl full toss ball deliveries and he will still not get. Hey, and he will get, instead of getting hit for fours and sixes, people just get out. And the sometimes bowlers also wonder what's happening. So sometimes I'm bowling my best, I'm beating my batsmen. Every next alternate delivery, it looks like I'm going to take a wicket, but I don't end up taking wicket. And sometimes I bowl very pathetically and end up getting 5 wickets. So this someone sometimes work in our favor, sometimes work against us. Now, sometimes we don't study well. There are many examples we can take, and the study students example can be another one. Sometimes we don't study well and get, but still come and end up getting good marks. And sometimes we study well, but we may get in the exams whatever we have not studied. And so so let's try to look closely at this unknown, whatever that unknown is. Now, that unknown is known differently in different religions. So, in the Christianity or the Western world, it's called predestined. In Islam, it's called kismat. In Vedic literature, this unknown is described as daiva, daiva, or destiny. It's called, also referred to as that, destiny. This unknown is what we'll try to focus, and if unknown, and what is our the duty versus destiny. Duty versus destiny is how we are positioning it. So this unknown is, let's try to analyze this unknown a little bit more. human effort, as we saw that, we want to send satellite in the sky, in the space, and we want to control them, every moment of them. Just like we see stars in the sky, we don't know who's controlling them, but we want our own stars to go in the space and we will control them. So we have this controlling mentality in us, which we said earlier that it comes from Krishna. Krishna is the controller, and because we are part and parcel of Krishna, in minute quantity, this mentality is in us. So human effort is always to try and control what is not in their control. Now, and science has become a tool in this war. Science has become a tool in this war. Take for example, our eyes. I'm 51-year old, so as we our age progresses, our eyes becomes weaker. Our capacity to see becomes weaker by age, by growing age. And nowadays, even amongst children, they can't see clearly. The distance number comes, or the near, after 40, after 50, you can't even read very small text, or can't see beyond a distance very clearly. So when this problem was presented to the science developed spectacles. And using the spectacles, our eyesight can be improved. The natural eyesight, which is reducing, can be improved using specs. Okay. So this way, what we are trying to do, we are trying to control. If the spectacles were not invented, what other options we would have had? We would have lost our eyesight. Our eyesight would have got impaired substantially. After age of 50, we will probably, our and with poor eyesight, our functionality get affected. We can't really drive, we can't travel a long distance, because we are not able to see very clearly beyond a distance. So our activities will be seriously impacted if we were not to be able to use spectacles. So science became tool in taking control of what is seemingly uncontrolled. So my eyesight deteriorates. I come up with my spectacles, and using spectacles, I restored my eyesight to what it was earlier. So by technological development, we are trying to control what is not in our control, which is otherwise uncontrollable. We are using technology to control things which are not in our full control, and this is what we are our efforts are always. Human beings' efforts are directed towards the thought that we can control everything. We can control everything. We may not be able to control everything today, but human thought is that we can control everything, and we can determine our future. We can, whatever we want, we can achieve. Whatever appears to be not in our control also can be controlled in future. The so there are many, and this is, if you think of this these statements, you'll realize that the science and technology play a big role in are giving us confidence to speak these statements, because um, everything, each of these statements, in the background we are thinking some technological development will help us do this. Maybe robotics will do help us do it. Maybe Gen AI will help us do it. Maybe another spaceship can help us do it. Maybe the satellite controls can help us do it. So in the background of all these statements, these four statements, is the science and technology which we intend to use as a tool to gain control over the whatever is uncontrollable today. let's let's deep dive further in this discussion. The what we spoke earlier, the question that we pick up for answering yes no, is are known in our Vedic tradition as karmavad and daivavad. They are known in our Vedic tradition as karmavad and daivavad. What it means is, karmavad in simple terms means that action determines results, and there is nothing like destiny, and there is nothing that we cannot achieve if we work hard and we work smart. If we work hard, if we work smartly, we are intelligent enough. Uh, there is nothing like nothing we cannot achieve if we want to. So everything we can achieve. So this is karmavad. Vad is a school of thought where people believe in this. So there are people who may have a similar opinion, and they typically will can argue, they can debate with the people from the opposite side. So therefore this is known as vad. Vad is a kind of a argument that they may put forward, not may not be always face to face, but through thesis, through 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 papers, through come up with a paper, come up with a thesis, come up with an essay, which tells that how everything is can be controlled, how everything is in our control. So people who believe in karmavad, they will think like that. Opposite to them are people who believe that everything is predestined. Nothing is in our hand. Nothing is in our control. We cannot do anything at all. Everything is predestined. All results are predestined. So Daivavad is complete dependence on Daiva for whatever we have. And this dependence increases so much so that they end up believing that nothing is in our control, which means doing action is also not in my control. And therefore, these people do nothing. So Daivavad, they just wait for things to happen, but they refuse to even do things. So Daivavad actually leads to inactivity, irresponsible inactivity. So this is another extreme. So one extreme is Karmavad, where we tend to believe that everything is possible. If we act smartly, if we act intelligently, if we work hard, impossible is nothing. Daivavad, possible is nothing. Everything is predestined. Whatever you want, if Daiva, if it is in their destiny, you will get it. If it is not, you will not get it. So there's no need for you to do anything. And at times they become responsible, at times they become inactive. That becomes another extreme. Bhagavad Gita tell us about existence of God, but not everything is predestined. Bhagavad Gita teaches us that yes, God exists, the destiny exists, but not everything is predestined. And Bhagavad Gita gives us direction. What Bhagavad Gita tell us, how do we know that if not everything is predestined? Because if everything is predestined, there's no need for Krishna to speak Bhagavad Gita. If everything is predestined, which implies that there is no free will, you need not do anything. But Krishna gives Arjuna choices, and Krishna gives Arjuna recommendations that do this, this is all there, but you can do this. And the reason why Krishna is putting forward options and giving his recommendation is because there is free will with Arjuna and with all of us. So, using our free will, we can choose a particular course of action, rejecting the other course of action. Over, we can make choices, we can discriminate and make choices. And if we have choice, we have free to do what we want to do. We have capacity to choose, and therefore Bhagavad Gita is spoken. And then, which means not everything is predestined. We can our actions can then we can take certain actions which can then could change the course of consequences as well. So yeah, so let's take a look at some examples from the scripture Ramayana. Again, famous incidents where Kaikai, uh, before the day of coronation ceremony of Lord Ram, Kaikai the night before, instigated by Manthara, Kaikai call Dasharath Maharaj and tell that how I saved you. in the battlefield, and you gave me two boons. You asked me to, ask for something, and then you gave me two boons, which I said I will ask you for these boons later. I want those two boons to be fulfilled today. I'm asking you two boons. And Dashrath Maharaj was initially very happy. He said, okay, no problem. You ask whatever you want. I can give you my life. What to speak of things of this material world? So ask whatever you want. I'm very happy anyway. Tomorrow my Ram is going to become king. So Kaikai, what Kaikai spoke after that broke Dashrath Maharaj's heart. Kaikeyi said, as my first boon, I want Lord Ram to go to be banished to the forest for 14 years, and Dashratha and my son Bharat to be made king. And that broke Dashrath Maharaj's just heart, and he fainted. He fainted multiple times. Then she called upon Lord Ram at the same night at midnight hour, odd hour. Lord Ram comes, and she speaks this to Lord Ram. that that I wish Bharata to be installed in your place, and for you to go to the forest, remaining there for 14 years. O descendant of emperors, prove true to your words and that of your father. Let Bharata be duly concent- concentrated with all the paraphernalia arranged for you while he remains here to rule this wide and prosperous earth. You shall remain for 14 years in some distant forest wearing matted locks and the barks of the tree. So, so this is now this is a situation where from order to chaos. Lord Ram was in his palace the prior night with his queen, with his Sita Maya. And Sita Mata, Queen Sita was there, and Lord Ram was there, and they were both happy and talking about the coronation ceremony to be happen tomorrow. What probably were discussing how it will happen, what time we should wake up, what time we should go to the palace, how we should go to Dashrath Maharaj, take his blessings, go to all our mothers, take their blessings, and then proceed. What time we have to go, what we should wear, what we should do, how it will happen. And they were probably discussing all of that between them. And suddenly the news came that Dashrath Maharaj is calling you, and you have to go and visit Kaikeyi Maharani's palace. Immediately, Lord Ram left, and this is what he heard, that instead of becoming king, he's supposed to go to forest wearing matted locks and bark of dead trees. He's prince. He's supposed to become a king, and from palace now, for no fault of him, no fault of his, he's been asked to go to forest and remain there for 14 years and give his kingdom, which probably just the night separate him between him becoming king of Ayodhya and the planet, this earth. Uh, this next morning, this is what is supposed to happen, and for no fault of his, now he's supposed to go to forest. So this is from order, from out of nowhere, suddenly a calamity seems to have fallen on Lord Ram without any without any signal, without any practical cause, without any cause. Such suddenly something terrible seems to have happened to him. So so Ram agrees. Lord Ram agrees and decides to follow the order of his father, and said, I will go to the forest, mother. Why you wasted your two boons on this? You should have just told me. I would have gone immediately. Now, Lakshman is reacting differently. Lakshman he's angry, he's outraged, and expresses his desire to fight with anyone who stops Ram from becoming the king. He says, even if my father comes in between, I'm prepared to kill him. Even if our father try to intervene, I will kill him. But I want to see you become King of Ayodhya tomorrow morning. Why should we go? What wrong we have done? Why should we tolerate this injustice? And he says, only cowards accept injustice as destiny. Only cowards accept injustice as destiny. Heroes fight against injustice. Such a heroic statement, isn't it? Ram is not affected by this speech, and he says, "I'm supposed to do my duty. My duty as a son is to follow the order of my father. My father desires me to go to forest. This is his will, and I'm duty bound to follow his wish, his will. Hence, I will go to the forest." Ram is duty centered. Ram is duty centered. And hence he accept the follow the desire of his father. Lakshmana, Sita Maya, they follow. But Ram seems to be propagating Daivavad also. Ram seems to be propagating Daivavad, but that's not true. Uh, Ram does not accept injustice as Daiva. He says, "This is the wish of my father. This is the will of my father, and I am supposed to follow the will of my father. I am duty bound as a son. I have to follow the order of my father, and this is what my father has ordered. This is what I will do." This is not Daivavad. This is not his laziness. This is not his cowardness, but this is his duty centeredness. Lord Ram represent how a perfect human being can be, how a perfect human being should be. And he follow orders of his father. He goes to the forest, but in forest when Sita Maya gets kidnapped, Mother Sita gets kidnapped, he doesn't say it's destiny of Sita to suffer, to get kidnapped and suffer in the palace of Ravana. So it's maybe if it is her destiny, why should I interfere? Again, Lord Ram is duty bound. Again, Lord Ram is duty bound. He is duty bound as a husband. He's duty bound as a husband. He has to protect his wife, and hence um he he assembled the army of monkeys, goes to goes to Lanka, fight a big war against Ravana, kills Ravana, and win back his wife. He doesn't say if Sita is if it is Sita's destiny to suffer, why should I do anything? He didn't say that because he's duty centered. When he went to forest accepting order from his father, he's duty centered. And when he fought war and killed Ravana to protect his wife, he's duty centered. He is focused on what is my duty in this situation. He's focused on asking himself a question that what is my duty in a given situation, and he was always doing his duty. So, saying everything is predestined is wrong, and it can it can actually lead us to become irresponsible. And saying everything is in our hand is also wrong, because then we see situations. When we see situations beyond our control, we fail to recognize that as well. So the reality lies in between. Reality lies in between. The modern idea of saying that we will make our own destiny, we will work hard and we can achieve everything by my hard work, I can achieve my success, are all appealing ideas, are very are very heroic statements, very empowering ideas. But there's a problem in this concept of karmavad. It is actually the opposite. It is seriously disempowering. Why? Because when I consider myself to be the sole architect of my success, I also become the sole reason to blame for my failure. I'll read this again. When I consider myself to be the sole, means the only architect of my success, I also become the only reason to blame for if I fail, if I don't get results according to my desire, I become responsible alone. What's the problem with this? Let's see. So when I fail, despite of my best effort, I consider I am a failure and something wrong with me. My failure not necessarily could be literal failure. I may desire to come first in my in medical entrance. I may come third and I may consider that as my failure and I may commit a suicide. A suicide cases, most suicide cases, when you read the story, you'll realize that at when you look back at that incidents, you realize, or one may realize, that they are not failures. So instead of coming first, if you come third in the medical pre-medical test, you are not a failure. But for someone not coming first when they wanted to come first, is failure. They may consider that as a failure, and such a big failure, this may lead them to commit suicide. And there are cases which have happened. So not all the suicide cases actually happens for a very great reason. You read those reasons, you laugh. What is this a reason for somebody to commit suicide? But at that point of time, the mental pressure of failure is becomes so heavy on the head and in the mind of those people that leads people to actually take such kind of drastic action. It's a serious problem. So most mental problem exists today because we believe that everything is in our control. Most mental problem today exists because we believe that everything is in our control. I should be able to control everything. When that does not happen, our mind starts to malfunction. And most often in our day, in our week, in our month, in last many years, things would not have happened as per our wish, as per our desire, as per our plans. And that's where the mind starts to malfunction. Uh, the success in spiritual life, or also to a great extent in material life, comes from our ability to handle, successfully deal with mind's highs and lows. Because when mind is going to malfunction, when things have not happening as per our desire, as per our what we want, is if we are not getting what we want, that's the time when we see our graph coming low. And when things happen as per our desire, our graph goes high and low and high and low. Now, how effective we are in handling our lows depends on how much information we have about why we have this low point in our life. Our unwillingness to accept reality of existence of God and destiny, and the fact that they shape our results, um, which are favorable sometimes may not be favorable to us, is the fundamental problem because of which we are unable to deal with our lows. We become very arrogant and greedy in our success also. So this both the high points and the low points are key events in our life which we should be able to handle, deal with properly. Our failure to deal effectively deal with our highs and our lows leads to most of the mental problems that we have today. um, when we are on high, everything is happening as per our desire. If we fail to recognize Krishna's role in that, we will assume everything is happening by my efforts. And then we become proud, we become arrogant, we become greedy, and then we feel impossible is nothing. Like, we feel as if we are only God. And from that point, when things start, the time changes and things start to go wrong in our life, and that point comes in everyone's life, we suddenly feels that we are no more God. We are no more in control and we blame ourselves only for that. So when in success I was the only reason, in failure also I only become the reason. And that is where the problem lies. Because we are from our understanding, we are ruling out a role of God, the existence and role played by God, or the destiny that we know that is known as, we are ruling that out. And this becomes the root cause of our sincere, serious problems. Some examples, we may be fully prepared to go for an important meeting, and suddenly a storm comes and we cannot go, we cannot even step out of our home. It happens to all of us. Many of us would have experienced this, that something beyond our control suddenly affect us and we are unable to do what we wanted to do. A South American tribe, there was Christian aggressors who were trying to overtake their land, and they were fighting a war against those Christian aggressors. Now they were South American army tribe was large number, and this Christian aggressor were very few. So practically, if the war were to happen between the two, the Christian aggressor would have got defeated very easily. But they did a trick. They found out that this South American tribe believes that if they see a white horse running towards their tribe without any rider on a full moon night at 12 p.m., at 12 midnight, something bad will happen to them. So what did these Christian aggressors did? They arrange that on a full moon night, at midnight hour, a horse without a rider to go towards the tribe. The whole tribe saw that horse running towards them, and then they all thought, wow, something terrible is now going to happen to them. And the next day, a small army of Westerners actually attacked the tribe, and they lost. The tribe lost despite of having a large army. They lost because they all saw that horse coming towards them previous night, and they all believed that something terrible is going to happen tomorrow. And despite of having such a huge army, they simply surrendered in front of few aggressors, few Westerners, and got defeated. Completely completely puzzling. But that is how our it things play on our mind, that something is going to happen, and we may we may fail to see anything good in it at all, and simply by doing this, they lost that battle. Now here, let's understand the word karma a little bit more. We're talking about karma, the karmavad and Daivavad. But let's understand the word karma here, which we are referring to, is action. The karma per se has many meanings. One is action. Um, and the karma can also means a fruit of action. We are suffering our karma. In that case, we are suffering our bad karma, reactions of bad karma. So sometimes karma word is also used as a to indicate reactions of actions. Karma word is also used to indicate the system of action reaction. The whole system of law of karma is indicated basically to uh, tell about the system of action and their reaction. And in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 17th verse, Krishna says akarma, vikarma, and karma, akarma, and vikarma. The good action, the bad action, and the devotional action, which does not produce any results. So karma has different meaning. In this particular analysis, we are using karma means the action. The okay. So moving on, now let's talk about destiny. Let's try to understand destiny. Now, all physics laws um, govern the interaction of matter, is what is defined in science. The science analyzes matter and and tell us about how matter should and will behave. So it's a study of matter. What can be expressed in a mathematical equation? What can be measured? What can be experimented upon? Okay, so the whole physics, the whole science talks about the laws which governs interaction of matter. But there are laws which govern the interaction between matter and consciousness. there are laws which governs interaction between matter and consciousness. Now these are subtle laws. They cannot be expressed in exact mathematical equations because it involves human conscious being, and they have their free will. The moment human consciousness is involved and the free will is comes into play, brought into play, the reactions, the results can be completely different. The results may not follow pattern. Okay. uh, Simple example, when you go out for shopping, you, if you can remember, the last dress that you bought, the last costly, expensive dress that you must have purchased, a shirt or a trouser or a t-shirt, or decently expensive. I'm not saying very expensive, but a decently expensive dress you might have had purchased in a mall or in a sale. And if you think of that, probably you'll realize you it was not a rational decision. The piece of jewelry that you purchased, the piece of the sari that you bought, the dress material that you bought, the watch that you bought, the some some accessory that you would have bought, some new gadget that you would have bought. You create justification in your mind to for you to be able to go and buy it. It's not that you don't have money, you can buy it, but per se when you ask your analytical mind, the answer is no. But when that emotions comes in, that this color is very nice, the blue dial is something that I always wanted to have, therefore I should watch this buy even if it's costing 10,000, so be it. This color of sari is something that I've been searching for in like years. Now I found it, I don't want to let it go, let me buy it even though I have hundreds of saris in my cupboard. This particular gadget is, there was a news today that the people are queuing up in front of I iPhone stores to purchase iPhone 17, which is probably about to come up, hopefully today, tomorrow, or whatever. So it's not that those people who are queuing up in front of iPhone stores are beggars or they are phoneless. They don't have phones. They probably have iPhones. Could be iPhone 16, or could be one of the iPhones, or could be any of the expensive phone that they have, and they have a lot of time in the world to go and stand in front of those queues, uh, queue up in front of those stores. To the moment that store opens, they want to rush inside and be the first purchaser of that iPhone 17 whenever it will be launched. So all of those peoples, uh, if their rational mind were to only think and they act, they all would have said, I have a working phone which may last for another 1 year. It's not a malfunctioning phone, and this is a decent phone. I'm able to do whatever I want to do today with this phone. So there's no practical need for me to go and purchase another phone. But people are still queuing up in front of iPhone stores to purchase iPhone, another maybe for 1 lakh rupee or whatever that cost it will be. So none of them are acting rationally. None of them are acting rationally. Why? Because this is where the free will comes in. This is where the consciousness comes in. This is where the feelings comes in. So the rational, the intelligence become confused when the feelings kicked in, and you start, because a rational mind or intelligence cannot deal with feelings. It doesn't know which feeling is good, which doesn't feeling is bad. It doesn't even understand why should we have feelings at all. You don't need a phone, point blank, full stop, no more discussion required. But because it is iPhone 17, should I not have it? Should I not become the first in my city, in my friend circle to own an iPhone 16, 17? Will it not be cool if I post this picture on the social media? I may get 1000 likes. So many people will wonder, wow, and all of that. Now, a rational intelligence doesn't understand all of this. It will say you have a phone which is working, then so there is no need for you to go and buy another phone, full stop, no discussion. But our mind will keep proposing, and the emotions of emotions will clutter our intelligence, and eventually intelligence will get shut down. And then if it will say you do whatever you want, you want to go and buy an iPhone 17, get lost, do it whatever you want, it whatever you want me to buy, arrange for money, I will arrange for money. So intelligence will now use now become busy in arranging money so that the mind can go and buy iPhone 17, even if intelligence no, there's no need for that iPhone 17. So a rational mind actually takes a backseat whenever the consciousness becomes cluttered with emotions. And this happens because we all have free will. We have a free will. We are not programmed beings. So if there is an action, there will be reaction. And in our equation, um, this reaction, the reaction to our action, the ratio or the is not that simple. The equation is not that simple. Right. And there could, why? Because there could be a time lag in producing results. A simple example of it is we sow seed and then the crop grow after a while. Sometimes we may sow seed for a fruit tree and the and under the tree may it may take years for us to get a fruit. Mango fruits become fruit, start giving fruit only after a few years, whereas grains may give harvest in few months. So every action we perform is like a seed that we are sowing, and this seed will produce a reaction or a fruit, but the timing can be different. Child may put hand in fire and reaction can be immediate, but if you eat six ice creams, and few hours later you will get a sore throat. If you too much, if you eat too much over a period, you will put on weight. So not every action has immediate reaction. Now, during the period, there is a time lapse from the moment we perform an action and the moment where we get result, where we get outcome. Between these two periods, when the action has been done, but the reaction has not yet come upon us, it's called, this period is called destiny. So, destiny is a sum total of actions we have done, but the reaction is pending to be delivered to us. Destiny is the sum total of all the actions we have done, but its reaction is yet to be delivered to us. It happens in sequence also. It is the reaction of our own past karma delivered to us from time to time. So we may wonder कि ये मैं तो अब इतना अच्छा हूं, ये इतना बुरा मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? बुरा इसलिए हो रहा है कि हमारे ही पास कर्मा हमें अभी डिलीवर हो रहे हैं, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द टाइमिंग डिफरेंस वी मे बी कंफ्यूज कि ये मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है, बट have no doubt about the fact that we are getting reactions of our own karma. Karma never forgets address. No matter which body you might be in, no matter which city you might live in, no matter which species you might be in, karma will get delivered to us. We function assuming cause and effect correlationship exist in everything. For example, if you get a scar on your head, people at home will ask you what happens. Why? Because they don't say that the scar on the head comes as is, just like that. If there is a scar here, all of you will ask me, Prabhuji, what happened? You can't say that I slept last night, there was no scar, and tomorrow I woke up and there is a scar. Because we function with assumption, fundamental assumption that there is a cause and effect relationship that exists. So if you go to doctor and say that you have upset stomach, uh, he's going to ask you what you ate last night or what you have been eating of late, because his job is to find out that cause and effect relationship and then give you treatment accordingly. But sometimes we see there is no apparent cause. There's no apparent cause, but we still get the result. We still get our stomach upset. We still, have something wrong happening to us without having any apparent cause. When things go wrong, then so we so see watch a television interview earlier of a 92-year-old man, And he once said that in the he was carrying a cigar in his cigar and a pipe in which they smoke pipe. And the interviewer asked him, "You're a 92-year-old man and you're still smoking. Not it's not nobody told you that smoking is injurious to your health and you can get cancer?" And this 92-year-old man smiled and he said, "Yes, many doctors tried telling me that. Most of them are dead, and many of them died of cancer, even though they never smoked. I'm smoking and I'm still carrying on. I'm still in perfect state." But so how do we make sense that we because we assume there is a correlationship between the cause and effect, hence we always seems to ask a question. One question often we ask is why bad thing happens to good people, because we all assume it should not happen. If somebody is smoking, we assume he should get cancer, and if someone who has never smoked in his lifetime, we assume him to be a good man and he should not get cancer. But we see things happening in all opposite way as well. Sometimes those who smoke do get cancer, and many times those who smoke actually don't get cancer. Sometimes a 5-year-old child is diagnosed by cancer or diagnosed with AIDS. The child has no idea what causes cancer and what causes AIDS, but he's suffering because of that suddenly for practically no fault of his. Um, so, so this is so when we don't see normal cause and effect relationship, we don't say it all happened by chance. When the fruit fell down on Newton, he didn't say it fell by chance. He went deeper into the analysis, and then he came up with the flow with law of gravity. Similarly, when we at times we see correlationship between cause and effect, and at many times in our life we don't see a visibly cause and effect relationship, and that time we need to go deeper in our analysis, not say that all this is by chance. We should go deeper in analyzing it more rather than dismissing it as by chance. Hiring a car to go from Mumbai to Delhi. Now the car I have and the weather which I will get, that is destiny. The car I can purchase based on my capacity, and the weather I will get on my way to from Mumbai to Delhi. Will it be sunny? Will it be winter? Uh, will it be rainy? Will it be stormy? Uh, will it be flooding? What will be the weather? Now that is not in my control. Most of the time our capacity to buy car and the weather I get while I'm driving are things which are beyond my control. But how I drive is definitely in my control. How am I going to drive? Will I drive rash? Will I drive in which speed at which I will drive? Which whether I will drive by taking precaution, whether I will drive by wearing a seat belt, whether will I drive at day during day and during night, or will I take sufficient rest? Will I drive after drinking? Will I drive while smoking? How am I driving? All of that is in my control. So the weather can be stormy, but if I may choose to drive with caution, I may reach my destination. Weather can be best weather I may get, but if I get drunk and I drive, I can meet with an accident and may not be able to reach my destination. So both the things have to happen parallelly. The weather, there will always be something in our life which will not be in our control. And at the same time, there will always be something in our life which we will have some control. And we need to do best what we can in controlling what we can control, and then hoping what is not in our control will work in our favor, so that we ultimately get the best results that we desire. I have a free will to choose how to drive. We can extract best out of what we have got. We can do, we can extract best of what we have got. So karma plus daiva plus kala is equal to phala. Karma plus daiva plus kala is equal to phala. A farmer must sow the seed by plowing the land. So he has to do his karma. And after he has done his karma, rains must come on time and in the right quantity. Now, that is not in its control. That is daiva, or the destiny. And when both the things happen properly, with the passage of time, the harvest comes. And that is, passage of time is kala, and the harvest is the fruit, the phala. If farmer were to think that I think this year it will not rain at all. I think in this year it will not rain. So why waste time in plowing the land and sowing the seed? Let me relax. Let me do nothing. And then if he fail in his duty of plowing the land and sowing the seed, if rain comes properly on time, now he's just hoping, or he's just thinking that rain will not come. Rain is not in his control. He doesn't control rain. But if he has not done his part, and if rain comes, only weeds will grow. There will be no crop, and by selling weed, he will not get anything. The opposite situation, farmer is diligent in doing his work. If he's saying, I let me do my part. Let me plow the land and sow the seed, and then hope that the rain will come. And the rain actually doesn't come, and he still does not get the crop. But at least he is not himself to be blamed. He is himself not to be blamed because he had done his part. He did his part. No, the rain didn't come. He couldn't arrange for water to be supplied in the right quantity at the right time, because of which the crop may still get burned. But at least he is not to be blamed. This is very important because he's still a failure. In our first example, when farmer didn't do anything, and the rain comes and the weed grows, no crop is there, he's failure. He wanted crop, he wanted to sell the crop, but he's a failure. He's not getting a crop, but he's responsible in the first situation. In the second situation, he's done his part, but no rain comes and no crop grows, and he's still a failure. But he's not a failure, he's not to be blamed. So in this second instance, it is daiva which was unfavorable, leading to the outcome, which is he does not get a crop. In the first instance, the farmer was to be blamed for not getting crop, because daiva, he failed to do his part, failed to do his duty. So the lesson for us is, doing our karma or duty should be our focus in life. What is there, whether it will rain or it will not rain, uh, I should not be overly worried about that, because that is something which is actually not in my control. I should be focused on doing what is in my control, and I should do that to the best of my ability. That is all we can do. That is all we can do. And then we can, after having done that, we can hope for the best. We can hope that it will rain. We can hope that by some way or the other, you're able to arrange for water to be supplied to your crop, and the crop will grow, and the harvest will come, and you will get the phala that you desire in due course. But not doing your duty, not doing your karma is not the choice. we must, in every situation, we must identify what we can do. We must identify what is in my control, and we should also identify what is not in my control, so that for that which is not in our control, we can actually depend on our destiny, we can depend on Krishna. And then we must do what we can to the best of our ability. So we must do our part. We must do our part, and then we should hope that the other part will happen, the unknown will be favorable to you. We can only hope for that, we cannot control that. Even if it is not hope favorable, we just have to accept the situation. But at least then we will not be ourselves to be blamed for the failure. If a student assumes that he will get a very tough this year, very tough question paper is going to come, and he doesn't study, and if even if the question paper is tough, he's to be blamed because he's not done the study at all. And even if question paper comes easy, he's not able to answer because he never studied. So you have to do your part to the best of your ability, and then hope the unknown will work in your favor, and you get results what you desire. At least you yourself should not be the should you should not be blamed for the failure, and that you can achieve only when you have done your part to the best of your ability. There's nothing more you can do in any situation, in any condition, and hence even if you are a failure, you are not yourself to be blamed. So moving forward, when we see causes produce results, some may ask why to bring something unknown into the picture. Now, this is plague. Plague was there, and when people initially thought it's because of the evil. It's a evil which is basically causing plague. And later on, science looked at that natural cause, that rat were carrying the germs. So the problem was solved. They took care of those rats, and then the problem was solved. So and sometimes when the immediate cause is available, material cause is available for the material problem, it should be solved at that level. It should be solved at that level. Even in Vedic times, there was Ayurveda, where if someone to fall sick, it's not that he's left to his destiny. He's been attended. People used to attend to him. People used to give him medicines. The herbs were used. Even in Ramayana, when Lakshmana was unconscious, the herbs was discovered. Sanjeevani herbs were brought from the mountain, and then he was cured. So people were given medicines based on different available methods, but people were given medicine to cure. It's not that if you fall sick, we say that, oh, it's your destiny, you're suffering your own destiny, so please suffer. And then if you were to get cured, you will get cured, otherwise you can just die. That's not how things were. So if someone falls sick, he's been treated, he's been taken to the hospital, he's been taken to the doctor, and with the help, the methods were different. Earlier, the Ayurveda was predominant. Now there are other methods, like allopathy is there, homeopathy is there, Ayurveda is still there, and naturopathy and many other methods exist using which we try to cure the patient. But while we try to cure a patient, we also know that we can only do our part. We can only do our part, and it's not that by taking medicine patient will always get cured. People die in hospital also. So but when the immediate cause exists, we can apply immediate solution, and we can address immediate solution, and that is correct. There is complete explanation. So sometimes these immediate causes don't address completely, and then there is correct and there is a complete explanation. Example is billiards table. A billiard is a game where there is a pool table, and the sticks are they use to hit a ball, and that ball hits another ball, and some ball goes into the hole. And expert there is an expert, so there is a top view. is shown by the camera is overhead, camera is hanging, and then the camera is always showing how the ball is being hit, a white ball being hit by a stick, and that ball pushes other ball into the holes. A physics explanation can be that how a stick is hitting at a particular uh, making hitting at a particular angle and particular speed or velocity to that white ball, which is going into, which is hitting another ball, and those balls going into the hole. Now this kind of an explanation physics can come up with, but physics will fail to realize that there is an expert player who is holding those stick behind, which are not visible, and those expert player has the skill and the desire to hit the ball into the holes, and therefore the balls are going. So this is where the role of destiny comes into the play as well. So there are many examples which we can talk about to explain the impact of as a destiny or the impact of unknown. Say water is spilled on the floor and three friends walking, they may fall. One may get minor scratches. One may have slightly serious injury, and one may break his leg and may remain in plaster for next 3 months. Now the same time, same uh, event, giving three people three different reactions. There's no explanation to it. There's no cause and effect explanation to it. The and therefore we need to understand the role played by destiny in our life as well. What is in our control, what is not in our control, and when we do that, we are able to make sense of our life better. So there is an immediate cause, and there is an immediate there is an intermediate cause, and there is a remote cause, which is the destiny or the law of karma. Modern science deals with issues at immediate level. And in the recent times, science has done phenomenal work in this field. But having accepted this also, we should not deny intermediate cause and thinking that science can solve all the problems, because the intermediate cause is where the destiny comes into play, the law of karma comes into play. A question may come up that what role Krishna play in all of this, and we have 10 minutes, so hopefully we can should be able to complete this slides, and then we can go to the question answer. um, Question may come up as to what role Krishna play in this. Now God is not directly involved. The karma is a system of justice. It is created by Krishna, but it is not personally involved in it. He is equal to all, and but he will deliver fruits to everyone as they deserve basis their own past karma. Krishna is uninterested. Krishna is not uninterested, but he is disinterested. He's udasin. In the 9.9th verse he says that udasina vadasina. What it means is he does not have any vested interest in the destiny when it is delivered to people. So when next time something terrible happens to us and you're not able to really put a finger to anything that you did wrong on the previous night or immediate in the immediate past, you should know that this has been delivered by Krishna. This has been delivered. This has been sanctioned by Krishna, and it is a fruit of my own bad past karma. Now, I may not be able to put a finger on which karma has led to which result, but I should understand the scriptures gives us this holistic understanding of what this system of law of karma is and how it functions. Now, knowing this, we should accept the situation as is rather than blaming ourselves only for the failure, for the result that we get. So if we are able to accept the situation with knowledge, we are able to respond constructively to the situation. We can still do something in every situation. So, this is how this is the role of Krishna. Krishna is not uninterested. He's interested in our good, but at times he's unable to, because if we keep doing bad, he will keep giving us results accordingly. Even if he will feel bad while delivering those results to us, he will he will not interfere, because he will be udasina. As long as, so long as you don't become devotees, so long as you don't surrender to Krishna, Krishna will not interfere into our life. It's not that Krishna cannot, but Krishna will not, because we don't want him to interfere in our life, because we want to protect our free will, because of which we don't want Krishna in our life. And then in that situations, Krishna is helplessly delivering us our good, bad, ugly karma in form of reactions. And he suffers, even he feels bad while delivering it, but unfortunately he's helpless, because we don't want him to interfere in our life. But when we surrender ourselves to him, we pray to him to interfere in our life, and then he can take control of our life. Then he can destroy all our bad past karma and make us fix in devotional service. But otherwise, to other people, he will remain udasina, no vested interest. Like umpire is interested in the game, but he's watching everything that's happening on the cricket field, and he's equal to both the teams. But we don't have any vested interest in a particular team winning or losing. So that's how he's supposed to be. That's how Krishna is supposed to be. So he's interested. He's not disinterested. He's not uninterested. But he's not interested in one person winning and other person losing. He has to be equal to everyone. And if something wrong happens, he gives somebody out. He When he gives somebody out, or he gives somebody signal four or boundary or sixer for some other team, it's not that he's acting out of his own desire. He's just he's just doing he's just delivering what is what is what is deserving by individual teams and individual players. So he's interested, but he is not involved. He's not does not have any vested interest. That's how he conducts the game. So this whole system of law of karma is created by Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate cause. Krishna is the ultimate cause. The intermediate cause is the destiny, the law of karma, and the immediate cause is our action. So sometimes our immediate cause and the result has a correlationship. We see the cause and the effect, but sometimes we see the effect, we don't see apparent cause. That time we should understand this is law of karma acting. This is, we are getting this fruit because of the law of karma. It could be favorable, it could be at times unfavorable fruit. But when we understand that this is law of karma, we are being delivered a fruit of law of karma, uh, we then don't need to blame ourselves completely, because we can't change the past. Now we can change, alter our today, our current, present, so that our future is secured. That's what we should be doing. A couple of other examples from about the law of karma. Vidura was speaking to Dhritarashtra, and that give 5 villages to Pandava. War can be avoided. Dhritarashtra kept ignoring his advice, and once Dhritarashtra actually says to Vidura that if it is will of Almighty that this war to happen, and even if it has to destroy my dynasty, what can I, a tiny mortal, can do to stop the destiny from acting? So if it is the will of the destiny, who am I to stop it? Now Dhritarashtra is arguing like this with Vidura, and Vidura responds in a very, very strong way, saying that the destiny determines the result of our action. The destiny determines the results of our action, not the actions per se. So do your duty as a father and as a king. Don't blame it on the destiny. Don't leave it for the destiny. If destiny is going to not give rain, why should I sow the seed? Do your part as a farmer. What is my duty today? Do that with diligence, and then if and then depend on destiny. If if the rain were to come, you will get crop. If no rain comes, no crop will be there, but at least you have done your part. You are not to be blamed for the failure. Now, this is very empowering concept. Now we don't have ourselves to be blamed if we have done our part in any failure. We can correct ourselves, improve ourselves to the extent we have not done our part properly. Of course, there will always be opportunity for improvements. But having done what we can to the best of our ability, there is nothing beyond that we can do. And everything else is left to the destiny. And if we fail, that's let's accept it as as a hand of destiny in it. If we succeed, let's accept the hand, accept this result also with the knowledge that this was also sanctioned by Krishna. There is also law of karma involved in our success as well as our failure. If we become convinced of this concept, we will remain steady in both success and both failures. We will be grounded even in our success and also in our failure. We will not take drastic steps when we fail. Neither we will become arrogant and proud and greedy when we succeed. Because we will remain grounded, we will remain steady, we will be able to deal with highs and lows of our life with poise, with equilibrium. We will not be affected by those highs, neither by the lows. Another beautiful instance where this discussion came up is Bhishma Dev at the end of and towards the end of war. After the war ends, Yudhishthir goes to Bhishma and seek his advice. And Bhishma Dev says that whatever happened to you, uh, whatever is happening and whatever happened to you is the will of destiny. So don't blame yourself for the destruction. You are not the only cause. Yudhishthir Maharaj was actually refusing to become king. He says, because of my desire to become king, because of our desire, we wanted kingdom, we forced this war on everyone. And as a result, this huge destruction has happened. There are dead bodies everywhere, and I'm the cause of this. I am responsible for this. And then Bhishma says that don't blame yourself. It was will of the destiny that the war has to happen. So he didn't say this. He spoke this after the war. After taking necessary action, he fought the war, and then he said, "This is will of destiny," not before the war. To summarize, and we'll then move to the question and answers. While acting, one should be detached but not irresponsible. One can be detached, not irresponsible. When a farmer is sowing the seed, he should recognize that he may sow the seed and the rain may come, may not come. If no rain comes, he will not get crop and he can still suffer. If rain comes, he will get crop, but that's not only because of his effort he's getting crop. It's because of rain also the crop is come, and rain is provided by God. Rain is provided by my good karma. So as a farmer, I will do my part. I will not be responsible, but I will do my part. Then I will depend on my destiny to get what I get. I will not blame myself neither for the success nor for the failure. So one should do one's duty very diligently, but accept the results fully knowing the contribution of destiny. That way, one can always be peaceful and happy. Both karma and daiva can be spiritualized. Karma can be done as a service, and daiva can be accepted depending fully on Krishna, knowing he will give us best out of worst situation. So this is acting in devotion without worrying about either daiva or karma or both. So this way, as a this is what how a devotees how devotees will act. So they will do their part to the best of their ability, and then they will depend on Krishna, knowing fully who is in control, knowing fully that Krishna is the one who is who has created this system of law of karma, knowing fully that Krishna has their best interests in his mind, knowing fully that even if some difficulties come upon them, they can utilize those difficulties in going closer to Krishna. They can still serve Krishna in all those difficult situations. They can use those difficulties to go closer to Krishna. They can utilize those difficulties in getting a conviction that this place, this material world, is not a place for gentlemen to live. This is not the place where they can ever become happy. This is not the place where they want to live eternally. They cannot live eternally. And this is not the place where they should get attached to people and things of this material world. The place is Dukhalaya. The place is temporary, Ashashvatam, and I will have to go back to my original home. That is Goloka Vrindavan, that is Vaikuntha, and where the life can be eternal, life can be joyful, life can be happy, life will be that of service to Krishna. And if I act in devotion, in surrendered mood, while I'm present in the material world, I will not be elated by success, neither I will be depressed by the failures. I can always remain steady because I will always be looking to serve Krishna in every situation, good, bad, or the ugly. So with this, we can conclude today's session. I hope you found this relevant, and and we can go to some question and answer if you have any. We can then otherwise we can conclude this session. A lot of things we spoke. I'm not sure if everything could be grasped. I will share the recording of this session after this, and you all can go through. I'll share the slides as well as the recording. Go through different parts. We could have spent our entire session on one slide. Uh, could have discussed many examples from our own life, but that would have just taken this session beyond one Sunday. But definitely my whole hope is that you found a lot of relevance in the slides or the discussion that we did today, and the problems that we face in day-to-day life, what we read in the newspaper, what we see on social media, where how we see the mental problem um, torturing the youth of today or people of all ages of today, and this is basically to understand what is missing in our life. The Krishna's role, when we de-recognize Krishna in our life, we end up with all of these problems. So my sincere hope is to uh, is that you found you could make the sense, the relevance, the linkage between the reality of the problematic life we live today, and the um, scriptural guidance that is available. This bridge between the two, I'm hoping, is becoming clearer to you as we progress, as we discuss more of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll like to hear any comments or questions, or else we can conclude today's session.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I think I had sent you one message, regarding this destiny and karma only. I had asked the question on WhatsApp asking like Okay, see, there is a situation like, the minors, the kids getting raped, and there are so many crimes against women and all that. Okay, this is very specific to kids who are like 3 years, 5 years old, or 8 years old. But they have to face, these crimes, that the heinous crime, in fact. But how can, see, as per my understanding in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that, you know, we expect so many things in life, basically, but God does whichever is best for us, actually. So if that is the case, I understand, our past karma, all that comes into picture over here. But tell me, 3-year-old or 4-year-old or 5-year-old kid, why they have to go through such crimes? How can God will also, God wish for such, heinous crimes, actually? So that is what my question is, and that maybe most of the time puts me in a dilemma, actually. What exactly this karma means? Why kids are also not, left alone, basically, for that purpose?
Yeah, thank you so much, Devendra ji. Yes, I remember this question, and I told you that we can probably pick up this during our session. And thank you for reminding this. Yes, you're right. God says He can interfere, and He interferes. So where we miss the bus is where, or we miss understanding in understanding the point is that God interferes when we want Him to interfere. Um, Simple example is the the gambling match where even though Pandavas were very close to Krishna, they didn't wanted him to find out. They were not very, so they, as a Kshatriya etiquette, as a matter of etiquette, when a Kshatriya is challenged, he has to accept. And not that so Pandavas, when they were challenged to play the gambling match, they accepted it without really consulting with Krishna. And at that time, they actually didn't. They actually prayed that Krishna be not here, because this is not going to be a very pretty scene. And they knew, and they actually prayed to Krishna that don't interfere and don't come. And so Krishna, um, it is said that Krishna was always there, but because Pandavas didn't wanted his interference, he didn't intervene until the point when Draupadi prayed to him and asking, begging his interference. We have to understand all of us have free will. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna is completely independent, but we also have our own free will. And using our free will, we act in the world. So we do good, bad, and ugly things in the world utilizing our free will. Now, this free will having a desire to protect my free will itself is an indication to Krishna that I don't want your interference. Is a sign of not surrender to Krishna. If we are trying to protect our free will, our desire to protect our free will itself tells Krishna that this soul does not want to surrender. This soul still wants to have his own or her own independence. So Krishna, for such souls, act as a judge, as a deliverer of justice, as an umpire on the field, where he want this soul also to come back to him. He also this soul he also want this soul to make all the right choices. So for that, he's providing scriptures. He's providing with devotee. He's sending devotees. He's helping devotees open temples so that people learn the difference between right and wrong, and at least they're prevented from doing wrong and getting wrong bad reactions. So this Vedic boundary is created wherein people are asked to function, at least if you want to work independently, at least do good karma. Don't get into doing bad karma and then suffer. So good karma, Krishna is supplying them with good results, and for bad karma, Krishna is supplying them with bad results. It's like he's completely uninterested. He's not personally involved in either of the two. But Krishna does not want us to do that. Krishna wants us to surrender to him so that he can then interfere into our life. So he says, Sammoham sarva bhuteshu name dvesho sina priyaha. Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. So if you become my devotee, then I am in you and you are in me. I will favor you. I will interfere into your life. If you surrender to me, if you become my devotee, I can take charge of your life. Then I will start favoring you. Now, this offer where Krishna can interfere into our life is open to everyone. But not all people want Krishna's interference. And therefore, they tell Krishna, you stay where you are. Let me do what I want to do. Okay, sometimes I will pick up some instructions from the scripture. I'll say भगवत गीता में बोला है कि अच्छा कर्म करेंगे तो अच्छा fruit मिलेगा. Let me try and do अच्छा कर्म according to my understanding, and let me enjoy in the world. But so they are ready to take some instructions from Krishna, but they are unwilling to surrender to Krishna. They are not willing to surrender to Krishna. So Krishna for them act like an umpire. अगर कोई आउट 4 मारा है तो 4 दे देता है. इज नॉट बिकमिंग हैप्पी. अगर कोई आउट होता है तो आउट दे देता है. ही इज बिकम लाइक अ जज. And that is what he explains in the 9th chapter of 9th verse, that he's, or 13th chapter 23rd verse, he says upadrashta anumanta cha bharta bhukta maheshwara. I am overseer and I am permitter, and while doing this I am udasina vadasina. I am neither joyful nor I feel bad. Why udasina? Very, very important word. We must understand this. Now, when a robber wants to rob a bank, किसी को चोरी करना है. Now he has a desire to rob someone else. He has a desire to go and murder somebody. Now, is this what Krishna sanctioning? Now this is not what Krishna wants him to do. Somebody wants to murder somebody for money. This is not what Krishna, this is not a Kshatriya dharma. Krishna wanted Arjuna to kill to fulfill his Kshatriya dharma under his guidance, under his authority. So it's like a soldier fighting for a country. But when you are trying to murder somebody for money, this is not Krishna's will. Krishna does not want that to happen. But can Krishna sanction this? Yes. If he has his karmic reactions allow him to perform this karma, he will actually succeed in murdering somebody or robbing somebody. Eventually, he may get caught and he may suffer then that time also. So, if your karmic situations are favorable, you might actually end up doing a lot of wrong activities. Now, it is like when there is nobody watching, you are able to break signals and nobody get caught. You don't get fined. Now, it's not that government told you to break the signal, but sometimes you break signal and you get a challan. Why? Because of some cameras are installed there. You get caught on the camera and they send challan to your home and you end up paying. Now you are thinking you are breaking free. There's nobody watching, but eventually you get caught. So it's not that Krishna want people to do wrong, but he sanctions somebody's desire to do wrong based on the karmic situation available at that point of time for that person. So this is the difference. Some people suffer terribly. Some children are born with cancer and they suffer terribly. They die at very young age. Some people suffers the minors rapes instances. uh, could very from our eyes we think they are very heinous crime, and that's true. So it's so but from the soul's point of view, The one who has performed such action and the one who has suffered that action, um, it could be, if you expand their journey to past few life, you might, it could be quite possible that the person who is suffering now would have done something similar in their past life in some other body, and the person who is doing now will end up suffering similar situation after few bodies. So the law of karma actually works perfectly. To our eyes it could be bewildering, but karma never misses an address. Karma will catch you no matter which body you could be in. The timing is not in our control. The reactions are also not in our control. But it has never happened that somebody else's karma is being delivered to somebody else. Karma is not transferable. You and I will have to suffer your and mine karma. So that way, when you expand the horizon of our analysis, we might end up seeing things differently. And there we might understand how the law of karma is working. So this is, in short, we can understand that Krishna does not desire, but he sanctions. Uh, Krishna gives same information to everyone. Bhagavad Gita is available to every criminal, every rapist, every murderer, every robber, and it's equal access. The Some of them might have Bhagavad Gita in their cupboards. They would not have read it, but the moral knowledge is available with everyone. The rule is available, known to everyone, that at red you should stop and green you should travel drive. But those who there are many who willingly break the law, and at times they seem to get away, and at some other time they seem to get caught. But from Krishna's system is so perfect that everyone will get caught. Eventually everyone will suffer their karma. So this is just the reality. For our eyes it could be bewildering at times because of our limited understanding and vision, where we see only one lifetime. You have to understand, you have to expand, go backwards, and then you can realize that this is how things are. The person who are suffering now could have done those heinous activities themselves in their previous bodies, and therefore they are made to suffer. And those who are acting in performing those actions, heinous actions now, eventually will suffer the fruits of their actions also. Having understood the law per se, we should focus on altering our present actions in such a way that we at least protect our future. And the best way to secure our future is to act in the surrendered mood to Lord Krishna as a devotional activity. Convert our actions as a performance of devotional activities, and thereby we perform a karma. We neither get good fruits nor get bad fruits, and we always render service to the Supreme Lord. And that way we can and we by allowing Krishna to interfere in our life, Krishna can destroy all our past karma, and he will prevent new karma to get accrued, and hence there will be no reason for us to accept new body. If there are no fruits pending to be delivered to us, there is no need for us to take another body. We can then go back to Krishna, back to his home. Okay, Vraji. Hopefully that made sense, but
Thank
we'll be happy to
Thank you
discuss.
very much, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhu, for the clarification. Yes, to some extent, yes, I actually most of the things I had understood actually, but I wanted to get that a broader picture, in terms of understanding it actually. See, in extension to the same question, now, when you say the 3-year-old kid or 5 years old kid, I know maybe past karma is the reason, but when you see such things are happening, because that particular kid doesn't know what is, good and what is bad. So, and unfortunately, they end up, facing such things actually. So that is where sometime, yes, I do understand, but sometime I get that, sort of a dilemma, why this to kids at least. So yes, crime is crime, but one has to face, whatever karma they did in their
Yes.
past life actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So no, that's true, and it could be very disturbing. But by our regular reading of Bhagavad Gita, by our regular japa, uh, we this understanding can become fixed in our heart, and then this will not affect us. It's not that we are not concerned by this. Definitely, we are all. It's a very sensitive issue, and we should do whatever is in our capacity to prevent anything like this from happening. There's no doubt about that aspect. However, if it has happened something and we come to know, uh, definitely something, this is the broader explanation to it. But again, we have to do our part as well. If we are in a situation where we can prevent anything like this from happening, we should do our best to prevent it. If we are in a control, or we are the authorities to investigate such crime, if we happen to be in that authoritative position to investigate such crime, we should do our best to bring justice, to catch the culprits and give them the 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 punishment that they deserve for performing such heinous actions, and so that the people at by large can get their lesson. So our duties should we should continue to perform our duties. Not that saying this is the destiny. um, Blaming it on destiny should not, we should not take. So this is not for us to become inactive. We should do our part. If it means raising voice, so be it. If it means, performing an investigation, if we are in the position of authority, so be it. If it means taking actions in, if we are present at the situation, taking some preventive actions, so that such things does not happen, so be it. Our actions have to happen. We are bound to, we should perform actions, and to prevent anything like this from happening. But beyond that, if it still happens, we should have good understanding of why it happens and how it happens. There we should, again, we should know things, from the spiritual perspective also. Okay, Praji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Swapnil Praji, you have questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. First of all, thank you very much for this divine and nectarian session. Prabhuji, we have come across three terminologies. Probably you have explained individually, but I think time we have already exceeded the time. But in any of the sessions, if we can uh, understand and compare, because somehow maybe I'm not that level to understand. I think there is time, but it's always been one is still the karma, and the third one is Krishna willing. These are where three terms.
So voice is breaking, Praji. I'm not able to hear. Maybe you can send your question on chat, and we can pick up in the discussion later.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, there are a couple of questions in the messages. Like Prabalika Mataji asked quite earlier one question, and two are in the latest two messages, Prabhuji. Hare
Can you
Krishna.
read any of those? Jigna Mataji, we can
I'll do
take
that.
question from Jigna Mataji, and then we can go to the questions.
Right, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I think I'll discuss this next time in the continuation, because then I'll be consuming a little more time. I think let the other doubts get cleared.
Fine, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, Vikas Praji, if you can help pick up those.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Jamuna Mataji is asking that my feeling sorry for someone who is being wronged, does feeling bad have any effect on us? or just consider it their destiny? Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
No, feelings are important. I mean, we all are humans, and emotions are ornaments of humans, as Lord Ram said to Lakshman. So it's not that the knowledge about destiny should make us dry. It's not absolutely that. Uh, when something wrong, as I said, if something wrong, we see something wrong happening. Um, we are not joyful because somebody got delivered their bad karma. Uh, Ultimately, every soul needs reformation as well. Every soul also need to learn the lesson as well, and to in our capacity, whatever is in our capacity, we can do to help that soul understand that. Uh, if we can help them understand why it's happening, whatever is happening to them, and somehow or other, if they can be told about this law of karma and then come brought closer to Krishna, I think we would have done our part rather than and we do that out of our sentiment, out of our emotion, where we feel bad about them, about such people, where we shouldn't feel get yesterday we were listening to the session by Maharaj. He said a Vaishnava feel really compassionate. They feel ki how much more you want to suffer, how much more you will suffer. So let me give you Krishna. Let me give you Krishna. Start chanting Hare Krishna and at least come to Krishna in you. Then you will come to Krishna at least in some life. But you will begin from somewhere. Let's make a beginning from somewhere. Don't suffer perpetually in this material world. So feeling bad about somebody, definitely we should feel bad about. And if we are genuinely feeling bad about somebody, if we genuinely wish to do something good to other person, give them Krishna. Give them Krishna in form of prasad. Give them Krishna in form of a japa mala. Give them Krishna in form of actually giving them a picture of Krishna, helping them visit Krishna's temple, and meeting devotees. So by yena kena prakarena, if you can connect them with Krishna, give them a book, then that is your real compassion. Real compassion, just feeling bad and then we move on, that really will not be helpful to that soul. So if we feel really bad, and we should feel bad, but then we should do something about that as well. Thank you so much, Ravi. Any other
Hare
question?
Krishna. Yes,
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Ha, Vikas Prabhuji, sorry I got disconnected. Prabhuji, but I had completed my question. Probably I was requesting for a
You
separate session on
Yeah. You
basically. Sorry,
completed your
Prabhuji.
question. We couldn't hear it. The only problem is that I couldn't hear
Okay,
that
okay.
question at all. So you can put it into the chat box and we can pick it up maybe later on or offline.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Should I read out the
If you have
remaining question, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. It was in between when Devan Prabhuji was asking that question. One question came from Usha Mataji's side. Probably that was answered, but maybe I'll just read out so that you can better explain that. Uh, but if past karma is the cause of these heinous activities, then how do you break this vicious cycle? That came I missed that question, Prabhuji, when you were answering that question.
Yes, Pooja, I think we didn't touch upon this. The vicious cycle can be broken, and because we always have free will, and we have prayers, we have prayers before we chant before prasad, that Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnave Swalpa Punya Vatan Rajan Vishwasanaiva Jayate. The faith, Vishwas, or the Shraddha, or the faith in the teachings of God, in the words of God on devotees, comes if we have Sukruti. And if Punya is spiritual activities, when we somehow or the other get connected with spiritual activity, we start accumulating punya or spiritual credits, as if I may say. Now, these spiritual credits are important. Because of the spiritual credits, only we can develop faith towards the existence of God, towards the words of devotees, towards the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And as this pile of spiritual credit grow, our faith can grow in Krishna. So the way we can create these spiritual credits unknowingly also for some souls is by simply feeding them with prasad. So if you all of us are in many ways connected with ISKCON Annadan program and ISKCON Bhivandi or ISKCON Attapur, ISKCON. So this is a simple way of connecting individual souls with Krishna. When we feed people with prasad, which is food offered to Krishna first and then consumed as a rice or dal rice or whatever, it is their souls getting connected with Krishna. It's a connection is created. So this is the devotees. This is how devotees intervene into the soul's life. Otherwise, the soul has no capacity to come to Krishna on his own, and this vicious cycle may never get broken. It may remain a perpetual trap for the soul. Because of his bad past karma, he do fresh bad karma, and because he has done fresh bad karma, he continues to perform bad karma and get bad reactions in future, and he get into bad company, and then it becomes a vicious cycle and remains perpetually in the material world. The intervention comes through devotees. When devotees can simply give them prasad and re-establish their lost contact with that soul and that Krishna, by that eventually the soul can develop affection, redevelop affection for Krishna. So this Svalpa Punya should become a sizable Punya. This Punya should grow. And the more we connect with Krishna, this spiritual credit grows. And this is a simple way of connecting souls back with Krishna. And when this grows sufficiently, and when we get a book, we actually develop a desire to purchase a book. We actually develop a desire to open the book. We actually develop a desire to try and read the book, make sense of the book, try and go to somebody and ask for help me understand this book, help me explain this verse. We can listen to the devotees, we can visit temple now, we can see, we can appreciate Lord's form, we can appreciate his beauty now. So this is the indication that that Svalpa Punya is now growing in quantity, and that is helping us develop loving sentiment towards Lord. And so this is all what we have to do. Even if there is no credit, give them prasad. Nobody will say no to food. Nobody will say no to khichdi. Nobody will say no to dal rice. Nobody will say no to cookie, which is offered to Krishna and given as prasad. So people will take it. People will eat it. People will, and that is how their connection is re-established with Krishna. And if that grow with the devotee's mercy, they can become Krishna conscious. So yesterday Maharaj insisted that because of Vaishnava, the bhakti is born out of devotee association. And we need to go and seek that association. So devotees will come out and try and give you that association. But if we are sincere, we should seek that association. We should search for devotees. We should talk to devotees. We should message devotees. We should meet devotees, and we should serve devotees. That is how we will progress in bhakti. Okay, thank you so much. But this was a nice question. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One last one is from Prabalika Mataji, and she was asking, just a second, Prabhuji, I'll just read. Yes, Prabhuji. Mataji is saying, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we know through the Bhagavad Gita that dharma is our priority. Duty is important, but when the situation comes, we can't judge what is important to do because our intelligence is missing how to overcome it.
So we should have devotees to whom we should trust, and we should consult. And those devotees can guide us basis Shastra, basis their experience of having dealt with other devotees, they can guide us. So at times you're right, we can have a situation where we don't know, or we may have 2-3 path and all may seem right and we don't know which one to pick. And so there is, so we should have a devotee mentor in our life. We all That's why if you see, we prompt, we encourage all of you to message, all of you to share, all of you to respond, different ways to create that two-way communication where you should feel comfortable sharing your issues, your problems. And that's how we create a two-way communication and we establish that two-way communication. That's the whole purpose. But bhakti is not to be done in isolation. Bhakti is not something, take a book, sit in the corner, become pure devotee of Krishna and go back to Krishna. May not happen. It can happen. I can't say no, but it may not happen. Knowing our troublesome mind, knowing the quantity and quality of distractions available today, it may not happen. So bhakti is to be done in consultation. Bhakti is to be done in association. When we associate with someone, we express our heart to them. We share our heart, our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, our desires with them, and we seek advice. And when we seek advice, we should accept those advice and try and work to the best of our ability to work on those advice. It's for our own good. It may not be what I want to hear. It may not be, it may put me in uncomfortable situation. A simple example is we'll encourage everybody to wake up early in the morning and join Japa session. We may not like doing it. I myself didn't like waking up early. But now I try and do that. And I sometimes succeed, I sometimes fail. There are many good devotees, great devotees, like Vikas Roji himself. So many devotees in in this session. They consistently, day after day, year after year, they've been attending morning japa very religiously. So there's some of these things they are able to do much better than what we do, what I do personally. But we look forward to. We look forward, even if it's making me uncomfortable, I should still do it because it is right thing to do. It is right thing for my devotion. So we should seek advice, and when we get advice, we should try our best to act on that advice. And that's how we will that's how we all should function, all of 60 of you, all 100 today, 115 of you should have that kind of a devotee connect with me. With we can nominate some devotees with them, and that's how we grow collectively. It's not in to be done in isolation. So I think 13:40 now. I think 40 minutes past 1 o'clock. So let's conclude today's session. If anybody has any doubts or sessions, hopefully all of you have my number saved on your mobile phones, devices. So feel free to message me anytime and I can try and respond as early as possible, and provide guidance to the best of my ability. So look forward to meet all of you next Sunday, and when we will pick up another theme of Bhagavad Gita, another important verse from Bhagavad Gita, and we can discuss more in detail. Thank you so much. In between, if anybody had any question, feel free to message, and I can try and respond. Okay, thank you so much. Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Srila
Thank you,
Prabhupada ki
Prabhuji.
jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol,
Jai.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna to everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna,
Dandavat
Prabhuji. Thank you
Pranam.
so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Dandavat
Thank you,
Pranam.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.